All right, so let's talk about the first step in the strategy. It's called pre-call planning. This is what we do before we pick up the telephone, so that way we're prepared when we get a member on the phone. A couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, we have to build a list. So I'm going to leave that up to you. Work with your store manager, but come up with a list of members whose renewal is up after their first year. We've found that this group works out really good to speak with. They're open and they're receptive. Second thing is to kind of look inward, and it's to check our attitude. We should have a really positive attitude. I know some people struggle making outbound calls, and you may say, I don't like bothering people, what have you. We need to change our attitude on that and realizing that we are doing them a favor by reaching out to them. They're our members. We're checking in on them. So that's the attitude we should have. We should be really positive about that. Winston Churchill says, attitude is the little thing that makes a big difference. But if you go into these calls with a really positive attitude that you're helping members, generally the outcomes are much better. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. These are great calls. The other good news is our members are super friendly people, right? It's nice that we're dealing with nice people, and if you happen to end up with someone who's not being so nice, you let them know that their membership's going to be in jeopardy, because here at Ohio Auto Club, we want nice members, and if they're not being nice to you, then you can let them know that. Okay, all right, you can't do that. But they're nice people, our members. Now, the last thing to keep in mind prior to making these calls is the good news is there's this new technology out there called caller ID. I think almost everybody has it these days. So when you call in, they can tell that it's AAA. It might even say your name or your office. So when they see that, they have the control to say yes or no whether they take the call. And what we've found is because the control's in their hands and you pick up the phone, that's where we need to be ready. We're going to go into that in the next video. But let's remember, there's no one person like with a weapon or a bat standing over them saying, hey, you got to pick up that call. They are willingly saying, yes, I can talk right now. They're not in the middle of an important training session or a meeting. So that's good news. Realize when people do pick up the phone, then that's when we have to be at our best. So remember, in pre-call planning, number one, build a list before you pick up the telephone so you can get into a rhythm. Number two, check your attitude. We're calling out to members. We're doing a great service for them, and they're nice people. And then lastly, caller ID is our friend. Actually, people can choose whether or not now is a good time to talk with us.